Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something super important, how to succeed in tech. But unlike what you might think, we're not really going to dive into a whole lot of tech. We're going to focus on one of the biggest blockers into you being successful in tech, and that's your mindset. Now I know exactly what you were thinking. Before I started talking, when you saw the title of this, you were like, okay, yeah, Greg's going to talk about all these systems and methodologies and what to study and frameworks you can use. No, simply the mindset was what we got to take a deep dive on. You see, when you think about succeeding in tech, you think about things like what certification should you study, how long you should study, and what technical skills you should go after. But in reality, before you even get to that decision-making process, there's a whole lot that comes before that can totally derail you before you even get started. In order for you to really accept what I'm going to talk about today, you really need to forget a lot of who you are, because a lot of us carry a lot of baggage with us. It's a lot of baggage from the inner voice in our head, what our inner voice tells us. It's a lot of baggage based on the people we hang around. A lot of the people we hang around aren't necessarily the best folks. And those people, they put off onto us like their limitations. So when you present them with what your plans are or the ideas you're thinking about pursuing, because they have a small mind or limited scope of what it is they believe they can do, you let it impact you. So right now, I need you to listen and I need you to block all that out so you can receive what it is I'm about to share with you so that it can impact you and ultimately make you successful. Now, you might be sitting there asking yourself, well, why do you want to pay attention to what I got to say? What's my credentials? Well, for those of you that might be new, let me bring you up to date. I've been in the tech industry for over 20 years. I've seen a lot of shifts in the industry. When I started off in the early 2000s, it was kind of a client-server relationship, and things graduated into virtualization. Fast forward to 2015, and I made the shift from data center type projects into cloud computing. So my career has stood the test of time, and it definitely wasn't a linear path to success. I've had ups and downs, peaks and valleys, and I've had to roll with a whole lot of punches. So much of what I'm sharing with you today is based off of different challenges that I have come against and kind of like the mental model I think about to overcome these things, which has worked for me. And I'm certain that if you adopt it, it can work for you as well. So I'd like to start off with something that you might already be familiar with. If not, I'll lay it out here for you. It's the concept of fixed mindset versus growth mindset. So you kind of need to identify where you are. So if you're not familiar, fixed mindset is you believe that your capabilities are essentially just like the concept is named, fixed. So you were born, you had a certain amount of capabilities. It didn't necessarily matter what your economic status was or who your parents were or how hard you try. You believed that you had a certain amount of talent and gifts, and that was just it. And in your mind, either you were dealt with a great set of cards or you were given the short end of the stick, and now you're just left in life to suffer. That's a fixed mindset person. Now, a growth mindset person is somebody that no matter what cards that life dealt them, no matter what handicaps they may have had, no matter what bad luck they may have fallen down on, they can take any situation and rise above. Now, in order for what I'm going to tell you to work, I need you to shift your mindset into growth mindset. And I personally truly believe that anybody, if they apply themselves, can better their situation. Now, I'm not saying that life isn't tough and you don't have every right to feel as though you're a victim of this life. Many times I feel that way as well. But in order for you to truly rise above and elevate yourself out of this, you've got to place yourself on a higher plane. So even if you aren't all the way there yet, just roll with me on this and put yourself into a person that has a growth mindset, because you're going to need a growth mindset if you want to be successful in tech. And here's why. The tech industry now more than ever is changing so rapidly. You're going to constantly have to be learning new things. And loving to learn new things and having a growth mindset aligns very closely together. They complement each other very nicely. A growth mindset person can sit down there and read a book, take notes, take practice exams, and get better over the course of time. They are patient with themselves, and they know that Rome wasn't built in a day. And success isn't like riding a rocket up to the moon and touching the stars. That success isn't going to be linear, like you're always going to make progress. Sometimes you're going to have ups and downs, but a growth mindset person understands that and can roll with those punches. Now I want to talk about something that I came up with. I call it the 3Ds. So it's easy for you to remember. It's drive, direction, and determination. Everything in tech is a challenge, especially with the rapid pace of learning you're going to have to do. It's easy to get frustrated. But if you have a lot of drive behind you, now what is drive? Drive is your why. Drive is what is your burning desire. You're so driven that when you hit those potholes in the road or the wall, you will find a way to keep pressing forward. That's your drive. The second D is direction. Now, this is not about just having drive, but going in the wrong direction. You need drive, but you need to have direction, knowing where you're going. And what gives you direction is having a plan. So having a plan and direction are very closely related. And the third D is determination. Determination is really that willpower and that staying power to realize that your goals aren't just a sprint to the finish line, but a lot of the things you're going to work towards in the tech industry are going to be an absolute marathon that never ends. That determination is going to give you the guts and the strength to keep pressing on. Now I want to talk about some things that could potentially derail you. And I'll start with the voice in your head. A lot of people's voice in their heads talk more junk than anybody they know. That voice in your head constantly planting seeds of doubt. Oh no, you can't do that. That's not for you. You're not smart enough to do that. That voice in your head will beat you down if you let it. So what I need you to do is let that voice in your head, tell the voice in your head to shut up. Now, it's okay if the voice in your head wants to say great things, but once it start talking some crazy stuff, talking about you can't do this or you're not good enough, I need you to tell your voice in the head to zip it. Now, the other thing you're going to have to be careful of is external noise. So-called friends that always got something negative to say, or sometimes family that's not that encouraging or telling you that maybe you should spend your time another way because that's not for you. People say that you're the average of the 5 closest people you're hanging around with. So look at your inner circle, figure out who you're running with, and ask yourself, are the people in my circle, are those the people that I want to be like in a year from now or 5 years from now? And if it's not, then, you might want to distance yourself a little bit from those folks and upgrade your inner circle. Your mindset is one of your greatest assets if you have a strong mindset and if you follow and prepare some of the things that I talk about. But a poor mindset can also be your biggest liability. Mike Tyson, they said about Mike Tyson, a lot of his opponents were already defeated before they even stepped into the ring. Once they stepped into the ring officially, and that bell went off, Mike Tyson just went ahead and finished the job. The same thing holds true for you. Wherever you are in your tech journey, you don't want to already be defeated before you step in that ring, or in your case, before you start their journey. So I really want you to have a strong mindset. Review the things that I've talked about in this discussion here today. Save this, share this, and refer back to this often. Every time you are, doubting yourself or feeling low, your energy, your vibrations ain't where it needs to be, I need you to give this a listen to over and over and over again until you lift yourself out of that. And that's the end of the discussion. If you can ensure that you have a growth mindset, that you have drive, direction, determination, that you can protect the inner voice in your head and the things you tell yourself, as well as shield yourself from the external noise and the people in your circle, and team up and partner with people that are going to elevate you, your tech career is going to take off through the roof. Now, while I have your attention, do me a big favor. Make sure you subscribe, and guess what? I'll see you in the next one. Take care.